All right, pretty excited for this one. This is Darrell's 67 Nova. Before we jump into this and all those parts that are sitting on the ground, Roger, give us a really quick version of the backstory of this car.
I don't know if there's a quick one, but a long time ago, Darrell came into our shop at the other location when we were what seemed like the Nova factory. And as I quickly realized, Nova stands for no go, and all my other Nova customers never finished their cars. Well, Darrell on the other hand must not be a Nova guy because he's finished the car. Or maybe it's just us with Novas, I don't know what it is. But we've never been able to finish a Nova. And so this car has really morphed into what you see today. So there's been a lot of stuff that was done a long time ago. There's been stuff that's been done recently, and it's really gone overboard in the past few years. Darrell has been a great customer of mine. I can't brag about him enough. When I got my big rig, he had a CDL, and he would be my licensed co-driver while I was driving on my big rig permit when I used to have the big rig for the shop. And so he's been a great customer, been around for a long time, just been working on this thing for a long time, and this has been a dream of his. And now it's gotten to the point of where it's at. And it's got a roadster shop, unibody chassis that we modified the middle section to lower the seats, move the exhaust to the middle, create a bunch more interior room. A lot of things that we're now doing on the legacy cars, we did on this car and the CUDA in front of it, and just to create room. And
So
it's
cars like this car plus the Z06 Nova and the CUDA has really paved the way to a lot of where you're at with the Chevelles now.
Yeah, no, and we did Brian McRae's Nova way back in the day. That was the chopped coupe, the post Nova. We did the Nova convertible. We did a bunch of those cars that we had around here that were Nova cars from back in the day. And Darrell's just it was on hold for a long time, and we've been back on it. And he just doesn't seem to know how to stop. So
Maybe it might be good that it got pushed back a little bit.
Maybe.
I mean, it seems like it's one hell of a build at this point. A lot of people online have been really digging it. We've got a really great response, so I think that's why we warranted a full video on this car.
Every time there's a show, Darrell texts me all the Novas that he can find online and is like, I still think ours is competitive. So he's been worried that it's not still in style or out of style, and I think we're there. So we've made some changes to the front lower valence to kind of modernize that from what we had, because before we had two round lights that were from, I believe, a 69 Camaro with a valence opening that was kind of your pro touring thing back in the days when the forums were hitting. And so that looked cool, but as we got to today, I'm like, headlights are better. We don't need all these lights on the front of the car. Let's just put some really good headlights on the car. Let's do those kinds of things. And let's make a lower valence that, I know it seems crazy, but we kind of took some stuff from a Porsche, flattened it up because a Nova's nothing like a Porsche, and trying to stuff some air through the car because it's going to make a lot of horsepower. We want it to work. We want it to stay cool. We want to modernize the car, not overdo the car, and not, sometimes when people modernize them, they ruin them, and I hope we haven't ruined it yet. So everybody will be the judge when we get there. And so we've just been working on parts and pieces, and since there's the possibility of this hood being made out of carbon and not being painted at all, everything up front needs to be finished before the carbon hood is made. So you can put the carbon hood in and it's going to fit exactly where we want it. So today we got our machine grill for this with the headlights, bezels that we modified and put thicker bars and made the grill taller and leaned it a little further forward. Did a bunch of things like that to make the car a bit more aggressive. We think that this will probably get Cerakoted black when it's all done and go in the front of the car. The bumper's been thinned up. You can see the printed lower valence that we've made. This piece would be machined. Some of this up here would probably be either made from carbon or fiberglass and or made from steel. So we would make a fixture to lay all that out and then shape all the parts to a buck to put it together. But you can see how the grill carries over to what we have machined down here. So I believe the headlights still need to be moved up to exactly fit this because we changed the headlight position up a little bit. We've been squeezing in this large PWR cooler that's meant for, I believe, LSA engines and 69 Camaros, and we fitted it in here to put the AC condenser on the front, and so it's got a big cooler there. Getting the fittings off the back of the radiator to clear the tire with 19-inch wheels is difficult, to say the least, because you're trying to stuff a huge radiator in here, trying to stuff all that stuff in the cars. We didn't weld these bubbles into the inner fenders just yet because we wanted to make sure everything was good with the 19s, because we decided to go 19s at the end because it sits a little better, modernizes it a bit more, and just kind of goes with the look of the rest of the car. So he decided to go with these Brixton forged wheels that are insane. The details on the wheels are insane. The carbon hoops are super cool. We may have to try some more of these wheels. They're pretty neat. So they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. But they're beautiful. All the machining here on the sides, just the lettering that they'll color in, things like that. It really makes it beautiful. So we're at the point with the side of the car that we have gotten our scrapers set up and the positioning on the car set up to where these are in the right spot to put the scrapers. The doors are all modified to do that, so we can now put the skins on with the millions of things that seem to relate to one-piece glass and just everything else that's gone into this. So we're ready to machine this final piece to fit in here. The scrapers with the rubber that have to be custom lengths.
What was the door? What was it configured before for the people at home that might not understand how much work has gone into this? Because, you know, over the months I've been watching it all, but you might not notice at first glance.
Well, Novas have a big old semi-truck looking vent window that goes from here down to here, and they're huge. They take up a lot of space. They make this window look a lot shorter. We chopped the top on this, just the front post, to bring it down to make the roof level so that the roof wasn't going uphill. And so in doing that, we wanted to put one-piece glass, get rid of the clunkiness, because on in a car that you're trying to be more vintage, they look good. But in this era, as you get into the 70s, they were going from vent window cars to non-vent window cars. And so it just kind of modernizes the car somewhat. And so as we get those pieces in there, we're now ready to machine this that integrates with the felt piece that goes in here, the window seal that goes here, just everything that kind of fits in the car. And so we've got this rear window mounted that sets in place because this window
cannot... When he says window, that's aluminum right now. For the people at home that are kind of not sure what's going on there, those are aluminum sheets of metal that you can
because
form.
It's the same thickness, it's same quarter-inch thickness. We can lay it out to where we can shave it down, we can cut, we can add to it by welding, we can do whatever we have to do to get the fitment really dialed on the aluminum before we go make the glass.
And as you're doing all the metal work, all the shaving, all the sparks, nothing's messing up glass. I mean, it's just multiple
We just order
layers.
the glass at the end.
Yeah, multiple layers.
And so I can take these down there when they're all defined, and they can make the glass right away, and you just swap these out. You can make the clamp, you can lay these parts out to put these pieces on the car. You can, for the rubber moldings that we need to make, everything is the same. Yeah. And so you're not wasting glass, because the glass costs more than this, and it wouldn't last through it, or somebody would break it 3 times, or, you know, whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of people get goofed up when they see this car, what's going on with that.
So we got all the rubber that goes around from here all the way to the front, all the way over to the top, and rolls all the way back into there. Got the console set in the car. We have a rough, that is just a printed center that we have because we're going to run a carbon hoop steering wheel in this car as well. We've got all the plumbing through the floor of the car so that it's not on the bottom of the belly pan car, because the car has nothing under the belly pan. The floor is the belly pan.
This is the fuel line, right?
Yeah, so that'll have a nice grommet that goes around it that'll hold it in there, and it's all one piece to go through the car because you don't want to run it down the middle with the exhaust because it'll get hot.
And then over on that side
Is the brake line that's all one piece that goes from the front to the rear. So there's no worries about leaks. There's no worries about anything else. It's just all, it just happens to pass through the interior of the car so it's not hanging low on the car, on the bottom of the belly pan.
And also to point out, this whole firewall has been recessed back in the center section.
To accommodate for the engine, to accommodate for everything else that's set in there for the custom shape of the firewall. And now that the floor is probably 3 inches lower in this car than it was stock.
And then you have the integrated hooks for the seats to go in the floor.
So the seats go in and bolt in place. Same seats that we would use in the Chevelles.
Then obviously you got the mini tub, all the back seat area. Is it going to have a back seat?
I think we're going to wind up doing a carbon seat delete actually.
Yeah.
And making some panels that are carbon seat delete.
So it's pretty much safe to say that everything from the firewall all the way back to the trunk has been replaced.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's a solid axle car. It's not an independent rear. It's just it's a production unibody chassis that the Roadster shop makes to weld in. We just did a bunch of floor mods to the inside of making this side a little bit of an angle. You can see this here, this notch, so that it didn't come in so far. That's angled in. We did it and then changed everything in the middle to move the exhaust underneath the drive shaft so that it's not under the seats and obviously 3 inches higher in the car.
So let's talk about this window regulator setup that you're running on this car.
So we've set these up with dual track power windows that come from a Mustang because the standard scissor type stuff just sucks for trying to make a one piece glass. And so we've set that up on the dual tracks to where it just gives it a lot more stability when it's up because the vent window is obviously much smaller with just having a triangle now.
And these are out of what?
Like a 2012 Mustang, something like that. We found them on ATEC, which is the wholesale side of Summit, and I've just been using them because they're pretty readily available and inexpensive. They take a lot of work to put them in, but they seem to work very well. We're testing them out in a Chevelle. I don't have any intention at this point of selling them because they're just a lot of work, but they're a great plus to the cars that have scissor windows. So as we move around back here, you can see the mock-up skin that we have on the carbon structure deck lid. I don't think this skin is glued. No, it's not. You can see the fuel tank is out of it. You can see the bottom structure of the carbon deck lid. So everything's been kind of cut down, but not gapped and finalized.
So this whole deck lid's going to be carbon fiber?
It is carbon fiber. So currently, this is just a mock-up skin because it has a defect here. So they cut this one out after they made the first one. Then they made a second one that didn't have the defect in it in case we decide to run this fully exposed. And so this will get bonded on when it gets body worked. And so we've got all that in there. We've got the rear badge. So the trunk used to come back and go straight and go down. And so we made the tail panel lean forward and then made the trunk come up here more like a Camaro.
Yeah, so a lot of work has been in this rear section right here.
A lot of work is in the rear section.
It doesn't look like it, but it definitely has a lot
Yeah,
of time.
all this is very custom. This is a fuel filler spout from East Bay Muscle Cars. It's got the bumper surrounds that we made. I mean, the exhaust surrounds that go on the bumper because the bumper will be painted. So we're going to bond them on there and then bodywork and paint it. Once the Marquez taillights that we have are narrower than the physical car. Probably the difference from aftermarket quarters and original quarters. So we're going to bodywork the car and then machine the taillight lens bezels to be the same size as the bodywork quarter. And so that's why the car's getting ready to go to bodywork, is to bodywork the trunk, all of this, pretty much everything from the firewall back so that we can get the car set straight, exactly where it's going to be before we pull the trigger on the hood.
And the glass, because this is not factory right here.
It's just stock glass that we've downsized the car to fit the stock glass so that if it breaks, you can put new glass in it. You're not stuck buying super expensive glass. You're not, you're and a lot of times going through this process, a glass is going to get broke in the process of doing this. Taking the glass, I mean, the glass must go in and out of these cars 50 times. Trying to fit everything, bodywork everything, and at least you know the glass that is mass produced is probably going to be to a little higher tolerance in predictability than the other cars, than the aftermarket stuff that's just super expensive.
Is there any deadline on this car?
The intention is to unveil it next year at SEMA in 2026. And then in 2027, it would go for Street Machine of the Year. I can go ahead and show you guys the color. So the customers picked this color here. That's a pretty nice looking color. It's going to look good with the carbon. It's going to look good with the wheels. The interior will have a lot of exposed carbon. It's going to be a pretty eye-popping car when it's done.
I like that color.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a Porsche Mercedes color. I don't know if they copied each other or if they just got lucky and it's pretty much the same paint code.
Are we going to do any type of accent stripes or?
I don't know about stripes, but there'll just be a lot of stuff that's probably the two colors that are on the wheels. So we're trying to make it where the wheels have a very dark gray on them. And so there might be some things that are that color, but most of the trim pieces will be black. We think the bumpers will be black, and just try to make everything else where it's just got a kind of a supercar vibe to it. Very minimal chrome, very minimal chrome, and then just making the car where it's very modernized.
What is the engine, the power plant exactly?
So currently it's just an LSA with a Harrop blower with a Wagner top on it. We're going to have Don Hardy build an equivalent motor that is in the OG Chevelle now. That would have a bigger cam and a lot more thump. They sound really good. Makes about 800 horsepower. It's a lot.
So this same top blower, just on a different built lower end.
Yeah, we'll keep the blower and the top, and then Don Hardy will build us a new long block.
Yeah.
And so we're getting to the point now with the hood that we can make this air intake. We're going to machine something that's of an odd size to get around all of this, to come over here to go through the inner fender, to put an air filter that's in front of the tire at full lock, so that you can actually turn the wheels full lock, fit an air filter, keep it out of the rain, take cold air from the front, get all that stuff handled in one fell swoop. And then we'll have a mount that goes from the top of the core support to the radiator. You can already see the hood buttons are integrated into the hood. You can probably interject some renderings here in the parts of just showing the hood and just showing some stuff like that. Now that the hood goes all the way back to the cowl to match these, it's just completely different from stock. Stock had a cowl panel with vents and all that stuff, and that stuff's gone now.
Tremendous amount of work.
Tremendous.
Yeah, but definitely tasteful and all coming together. I mean, that front billet section of the grille and the headlights looks
It's beautiful.
great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it all come together. I know Darrell's very excited. It's just fun to see guys kind of have their dream come to the, starting to come to fruition. You know, seeing this car sit on the ground with the wheels and starting to see the color and seeing those things. And, you know, the car changes a lot when you go from just this little swatch of blue to the whole car being blue to just...
I know you said early on in the video, kind of the backstory, that it's been around the shop for many years, you know, in process. Is there a significance of this car that he's owned it? Like, was it something that he's owned for many years?
Well, yeah, he's owned it for many years.
Well, I know in
but
the
not
build process,
before, not before we started on it.
Okay, so this he
just wanted a Nova, and I just don't think he's a quitter.
Yeah, yeah. Like we always talk about, I love the backstories. If it was like a family car or high school car or anything like that.
For as long as we worked on it, it might have been his midlife car. Sorry, Darrell. So, but yeah, it's great. Lots of great ideas. It's really neat to see it all finally come together.
Yeah, this thing is super rad. You guys have definitely put some hard work into it, and it is great to see it at this point.
It is great. I'm excited to see Darrell get in it, and I'm sure he's going to drive the wheels off it and he'll be standing there like a proud papa at the show. And
you know, some of the social media posts that we've put up, some of the comments we got, like basically people are concerned for some reason, are concerned about the weight of the vehicle. I don't know if it's just because it's raw metal and they see all the metal work going into it and they think in just associating it with weight. But what are we talking on this car for weight?
I would imagine it's 3,800 pounds. The chassis, obviously the car's far stiffer than it would have been stock. These cars were super light stock. But I would think you're 3,800 pounds in something like this. This car's probably a little lighter than a Chevelle that's fully loaded with insulation and leather and interior parts. And but I mean, you got a big heavy blower. Even though it's an aluminum block engine, all that stuff, there's just a big radiator. Tires and wheels are big. There's just a lot of stuff that's very big in the car, but I wouldn't say it's any heavier. It's definitely not a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why we've had it multiple times over the course of a few months now.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, I don't, you know, but definitely, I mean, you're going to have carbon fiber rear deck lid, you know, the hood. I mean,
yeah, I mean, that cuts off, you know, 20, 30, 40 pounds, somewhere in there, maybe. The main reason for the carbon parts is it allows you to have a finish you wouldn't have had, because I just can't bring myself to wrap it and make everyone think it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's heavier than stock, but these cars didn't weigh anything. But really, it's no different than any other car.
So tell us, what are we looking at? What's the next couple months look like with this car?
So getting ready to go up to car fabrication for bodywork and paint, and get ready to start on the bodywork process. We like to kind of exchange the car back and forth on high-end cars to fit things as it's going together in bodywork, so that you CAD design those parts or do these parts and pieces as it's going through the process. And so we'd like to do that and continue to design. There's still a lot of parts we've got to get through CAD design and get produced, so it's all ready to come together when the body's in final primer and ready to be disassembled and sprayed this beautiful blue color.
Yeah, that is super nice. All right, well, let everyone know how they can get a hold of you if they want to build their next dream car, muscle car, whether it's a Mercedes, a BMW, or a Nova.
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as we just want to do stuff right and do quality stuff and do stuff we can be proud of. And usually guys find us because they find that we go a little more than other people maybe. We just try to put our best effort into it and think it through and make sure it works, and try to show that our cars do work and that they get driven and that they, you know, are just usable. They're not just things to look at, and we're constantly evolving to make everything better and use if the next car is the best car. So if you're interested in getting a hold of us, just look us up on our website. You can contact us from there. Has a few small questions to help divert you to the right places depending on what your question is, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
We'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.